Myst, Might, Mayhem. By Han Jung-Wioya. Chapter 1. Opportunity. Part 1. A beautiful backyard with pink peach blossoms in full bloom. The seemingly quiet and peaceful peach blossom spring was filled with a roaring sound, and its enormous impact was spreading in all directions. Quack-quack-quack-quang. Someone emerged from the rising, hazy dust. It was the wicked granny, Cheol Surayan. Hook hook. Her expression was not good as she exhaled rough breaths, seemingly exhausted. Cheol Surayan looked at the dusty area, then stretched out her hand, and a huge, utterly transparent hand appeared in midair. At that very moment, Shwawaya. A cold wave surged from within the dust, and wind pressure made of cold frost rushed in. As the wind pressure approached, the formless claw created by Cheol Surayan drew a circle to defend against it, unfolding a defensive technique. However, her formless claw was instantly frozen by the frosty cold wave, and Kwajik. Breaking through the frozen frosty cold wave, a silver-haired woman leaped out and tried to grab Cheol Surayan with swift hand movements. Damn it! The startled Cheol Surayan tried to create distance by using her lightness skill, but it was useless. The silver-haired woman was too fast and instantly caught up to her, snatching her wrist with the golden lasso technique. Tack. It was at that moment. Chwaawak. Red sword energy flew through the ground, and the silver-haired woman hurriedly released Cheol Surayan's wrist and did a backflip to avoid it. TCH. As she was rotating, a woman with sharp features and flowing red hair flew towards her with a terrifying momentum. Seeing her flying like a hawk, the silver-haired woman stuck out her tongue. Blood demon sword heaven? You'll pay for bullying the youngest. At the red-haired woman's shout, the silver-haired woman sneered and then unleashed a palm strike that turned white and emitted extreme cold. This was the ultimate move of the icy white palm technique. The red sword energy and the white palm strike collided, creating an enormous sound of air breaking. Kwaong. It was as if a war was breaking out, with everything around being destroyed and in chaos. Yet, there was a beautiful woman calmly watching them while drinking tea. Quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-wang. Despite the roaring sounds and debris flying everywhere, all of this seemed like an everyday occurrence to her. As she enjoyed her tea while watching them, the woman spoke. Ever since Surayan arrived, Hai Hyang and Seolbek seem particularly energetic. Don't you think? At her question, a young man standing behind her shrugged. The young man with mysterious eyes that contained both blood red and golden colors also seemed accustomed to this, smiling as he picked up the scabbard he had leaned against a pillar and slung it over his back. Seeing this, the beautiful woman, Sima Yang, turned her head and asked, "Are you going to see?" "Yeah. The master said it would be a good spectacle, so I should go check it out." "Isn't it more that you're curious about him after such a long time?" "That too, among other things. I'd like to go with you, but it's a shame I can't cross over to that side." At her regretful tone, the young man, Jin Woonwai, smiled gently and said, "You and the wives will be able to transcend the natural order before long." "I hope so." Before she could finish her words, a dagger shot out from Jin Woonwai's bosom and fluttered around like a butterfly. "So Dam seems excited?" "Indeed." Kaya ha ha ha. "Of course. It's an outing after so long, how could I not be excited?" "You feel the same, right, Namcheon? Seeing you so excited even after getting such a harsh beating last time, you're really something." "Who got a harsh beating?" "I was just helping because Woonwai was distracted, and I almost ended up bald like before." At the noisy chatter of the swords, Jin Woonwai shook his head and then said to Sima Yang, "It won't take too long." "All right. Be careful." After giving her a light kiss on the cheek as she waved goodbye, Jin Woonwai's entire body began to be enveloped in a bright light. With that, time around him stopped, and the light turned to darkness. Shwawaya. Shuuk. Then the space rippled, and his form was sucked into it. Black light spread out like the Milky Way, and after passing through a dazzling space, a world dyed in 5 colors unfolded before Jin Woonwai's eyes. This place, which looks like the peach blossom spring, is called by some the world after ascending or beyond the boundary. A world that only those who have transcended the natural order can reach. Jin Woonwai's expression hardened as he arrived here. Geogic. Goo. This was because the sky, which had been dyed in 5 colors, suddenly split as if the world was being remade, and the sight of a meteor shattering appeared. Woonwai. We should dodge first. Jin Woonwai strongly agreed with Sodam's words, but it was already too late. Just a moment ago. Chwaya. Sword energies emitted by swords of ice, flame, and lightning that appeared in midair created hundreds and thousands of trajectories everywhere. Amidst these incredible light beams that filled the space and seemed impossible to block, a muscular handsome man with his entire body glowing red and emitting white steam was lightly deflecting them with his fists as he moved through the gaps. Pachachachakachaka. With the handsome man's punches, blue sword energy light beams were deflected, their paths bending in all directions. Thanks to this, the paths of other light beams were also disrupted, causing blue flashes to scatter around. A young man with a pale white face and long hair, who had been watching this, clicked his tongue and then moved for the first time. Tat. A black line appeared in midair. However, the line that had been extending straight stopped midway at the muscular handsome man's chest. Pachachikichichichik. The unified power that had stopped midway couldn't pierce through the blackened muscle. At this, the pale-faced young man opened his mouth as if truly surprised. What impressive muscles. Not bad yourself. That sword of yours, too. PSSSSSS. The muscular handsome man had activated his muscles to block the single sword strike converging on one point and was about to strike down with his back. However, the force trying to pierce his chest was so strong that his 2 arms couldn't move. This won't do. Thinking he needed to open his muscles to another level, the handsome man exerted force on his body. Then the blackened chest muscles began to wriggle, trying to change once again. Sensing something was amiss, the pale-faced young man tried to imbue the sword stuck in the chest with heavenly demon energy to transform it into the supreme heavenly demonic sword that could cut anything. Chit. Could he have sensed this? The muscular handsome man, who was about to open his muscles to an even higher level, instantly created distance with a tense look in his eyes. Papawayak. The handsome man, who had instantly created a distance of about 30 jang, exerted force on the soles of his feet, then Kwaong. He kicked the air in the void. Space shook and rippled like waves, creating vibrations. Due to this aftermath, the pale-faced young man was about to be swept back by the spatial waves. Papapapapapapapapaning. Not missing this chance, the muscular handsome man kicked off various points in space, flying at a speed invisible to the naked eye, trying to trap the pale-faced young man within the spatial ripples. It was at that very moment. As the pale-faced young man swung his sword, black light cut through the void, and the space that had been rippling like waves was sliced apart. Chwaiwak. But it didn't end there. Let's do this properly. The young man raised his arm and made a gesture as if grasping something. Then the sky filled with 5 colors split apart, revealing a black universe. In that state, the young man pulled his clenched fist. Quack. Fragments of shattered meteors could be seen flying from the black universe. Seeing this, the muscular handsome man licked his lips and then clenched both fists and brought them to his waist. Then the ground shook violently as if an earthquake had occurred. Kuuu. Shatter. Kwaong. As the muscular handsome man exerted force on his 2 feet and pressed down hard on the ground, the earth split, the ground caved in for hundreds of jang, and countless shattered fragments shot upwards along with it. Quack. Not bad. Nano, assist me. Activating computational functions at maximum capacity. Enabling remote control of meteor fragments. Augmented reality unfolded in the young man's eyes, generating numerous numbers and targets. Just as the fragments shooting up from the ground and the meteor fragments were about to collide, SSSSSSSS. At that moment, a coincidental event occurred. Someone appeared, tearing through space right in the middle of it all. Who? This was the phenomenon of someone crossing over by riding the natural order. Both men sensed this simultaneously, but their catastrophe-level attacks were already beyond the point where they could be stopped midway. At that moment, the suddenly appeared person hurriedly drew the sword on his back and raised it upwards, and lightning began to surge from all directions. Pachichikichichik. The lightning, drawing blue light beams, was on an enormous scale, reaching up to 100 jang. The lightning that surged like this gathered into the sword in an instant. As the person who had wrapped the lightning around the sword was about to create a whirlwind with the lightning sword while kicking off the air, it happened. SSSSSSSS. Then something unexpected by anyone occurred. The torn sky returned to its original five-colored state as if nothing had happened, and the fragments of the shattered earth that had been shooting upwards scattered like dust and disappeared. The pale-faced young man and the muscular handsome man, who had been about to clash while fully exerting their abilities, couldn't hide their bewilderment. It was beyond imagination to instantly nullify a power that could shake heaven and earth. At this, the two simultaneously flew towards and landed near this incredible being who had appeared between them. Tack. Chuck. That's truly amazing. Was that just now you're doing? As the two asked simultaneously, the person holding the sword still affected by lightning, no, Jin Woon Wai, opened his mouth again as if embarrassed. I'm sorry for making you misunderstand, but this wasn't my doing. It wasn't you? At the young man's question, Jin Woon Wai stared at him intently and said, this face looks very familiar. It's extremely familiar. You are quite unique. What? Your ominous energy and face are very similar to someone I know. Someone? Have you perhaps heard the name Heavenly Demon? At Jin Woon Wai's words, the pale-faced young man's eyes widened. At that moment, someone flew to where they were and shouted. Did you just say Heavenly Demon? That someone was the golden nine-tailed fox, a blonde beauty beyond compare. She had been watching from afar and flew over in a hurry upon hearing the words Heavenly Demon. A demon? Jin Woon Wai frowned and muttered as soon as he saw her, immediately realizing she wasn't human. At this, the golden nine-tailed fox shouted angrily. Just answer the question. Do you know about the Heavenly Demon? I mean, the first-generation Heavenly Demon, not you here? First-generation Heavenly Demon? Yes. This Cheon Yeo Woon here is called the second-generation Heavenly Demon. Second-generation Heavenly Demon? As Jin Woon Wai looked at him with those words, the pale-faced young man, no, Cheon Yeo Woon, nodded and answered. I am Cheon Yeo Woon, the second-generation Heavenly Demon of the Heavenly Demon Divine Cult. Cheon Yeo Woon? If you're of the Cheon family and inherited the title of second-generation Heavenly Demon, you must be a descendant of the one I know. You. Do you know him? Well, I certainly know of him, but it's hard to explain as it seems somewhat indirect rather than a direct connection. What? As Cheon Yeo Woon made an expression of what on earth are you talking about, the golden nine-tailed fox spoke in an annoyed voice, as if she had come up empty-handed. This human. It doesn't seem like he really knows anything. At their conversation, Jin Woon Wai shrugged and then looked at the muscular handsome man and said, but why is your body like that? Just a moment. SSSSSSSS. Before he could even ask, the muscular man's body, which had been swollen and turned black, gradually subsided and then turned red-hot, emitting steam. Seeing this, Jin Woon Wai asked with widened eyes. True blood golden body? At those words, the muscular handsome man tilted his head and opened his mouth. True blood golden body? Do you perhaps know Hei Mua? Hei Mua? Hei Mua. Wait, if it's Hei Mua, I know him as Master Hei A.K. Cheon's ancestor, but how do you know that name? He's my younger cousin. Younger cousin? Could you be Yumumu, who was called the true predecessor of the true blood golden body? Oh? You know my name. Was I that famous? The muscular man, Yumumu, scratched his head as if embarrassed. Then Yumumu clapped his hands as if suddenly realizing something and said, "But you said just now that it wasn't you who did that? Then who on earth did it?" At his question, everyone's expressions became strange. Jin Wunwei had also been wondering about the sudden disappearance of the two people's enormous powers that he had almost been caught up in. Even for himself, who had reached the highest realm of heaven evasion and the immortal way, it would have been difficult to instantly nullify two immense powers reaching the level of as you wish. That's why he had tried to protect his body with heaven evasion and avoid it rather than confronting this power. But it was at that moment. Yumumu, ancestor of Yumu Jin, Jin Wunwei, ancestor of Jin Yurin, Qion Yeo Wun, my descendant. Fate is truly unpredictable. At the voice echoing in their ears, the second-generation heavenly demon Qion Yeo Wun's pupils trembled. The golden nine-tailed fox beside him was so surprised that her eyes reddened and even welled up with tears. Heavenly demon. To think she would finally hear the voice she had longed to hear for so long. Where on earth is he? She couldn't pinpoint his location because only his voice echoed in their ears. Then, Mchit. They all suddenly turned their heads towards somewhere. Though it was hundreds of jang away, they could clearly see burning eyes with golden light. Even more surprising was that an enormous energy that seemed capable of overturning the earth was spreading from this being. The golden nine-tailed fox, who had been staring intently at this, opened her mouth. The fiery eyes of golden gaze. It's been a long time since I've seen those. You monster monkey. Monster monkey? At Qion Yeo Wun's question, Jin Wunwei answered. The worst and strongest Imimanjiang, born when all the energy of heaven and earth gathered in a stone at the top of Mount Huagua. The railing monkey king. At these words, a look of competitive spirit and interest flashed in Qion Yeo Wun's eyes. He had heard about this from the golden nine-tailed fox. A legendary and mythical being called unmatched in the mortal world, a Imimanjiang born from the gathering of heaven and earth's energy. He had wanted to meet him at least once. So he was about to step forward, but... Swick. Jin Wunwei reached out his hand to stop him. When Qion Yeo Wun looked puzzled at this, Jin Wunwei smiled and said, "Are you trying to steal your ancestor's pleasure?" Ancestor. Ah. Goo. At that moment, someone in a black robe was descending from the sky towards the fiery eyes golden gaze railing monkey king. Although it was a back view, Qion Yeo Wun's lips curled up at the enormous majesty and overwhelming strength that could be felt. Finally, I get to meet you, ancestor.